Can body language actually prove someone is lying? It's a question that's fascinated us for absolutely ages, but rarely with the kind of intense, real-time public scrutiny we're seeing right now with the Nolan Wells disappearance case. Whenever high-stakes mysteries hit the internet, it's like everyone suddenly becomes an armchair detective overnight. But what actually happens when we strip away all the wild rumors and just look at the undeniable physical evidence of human behavior?
The very second police released their interview with Nolan's best friend, Warren Hudson, the internet just pounced. They immediately threw a guilty verdict his way. Commenters everywhere were accusing Warren of lying, calling him shifty, and relentlessly dissecting every little move he made. But the thing is, they were basing these massive, life-altering accusations completely on what they thought his body language meant.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to use real forensic behavioral analysis to decode this incredibly high-stakes interview. We're going to find out exactly how body language reveals deception, and what Warren's body is saying when his words might just be hiding the truth.
Section 1. Spotting a liar.
Okay, so let's separate the facts from the fiction right out of the gate. We're leaning on the expertise of renowned body language expert and forensic behavioral analyst Susan Constantine. She reviewed the actual footage of Warren's interview, and her findings totally flipped the internet's narrative upside down. See, on one side you have internet pop psychology. People online claim that because Warren looked away, he's totally guilty. But here's the truth. Averting your eyes has literally zero scientific backing. Susan points out that eye aversion has been thoroughly debunked. Usually, it's just a sign that someone is thinking or trying to recall a memory. On the flip side, we have real forensic methodology. Actual experts don't care about a single isolated movement. They're looking for inconsistent behavioral clusters. That means multiple physical reactions happening all at once. That's what throws up the real red flags.
Section 2. Establishing the baseline. Before we can confidently spot a lie, we absolutely have to figure out what this person's normal, truthful behavior looks like. Think about it. You can't recognize a deviation if you don't know what the standard route is, right? To find that baseline, forensic analysts are rapidly scanning 6 main channels of communication. They are constantly measuring blink rate, head movement, eye movement, body posture, facial expressions, and vocal tone and pace. All 6 of these simultaneously. Why? Because we are hunting for those clusters of deviation. If someone suddenly stutters, crosses their arms, and their blink rate skyrockets at the exact same moment they're asked a specific question, boom, that is a cluster.
Section 3. What truth looks like. Let's actually look at some of Warren's early statements to the police to demonstrate what his truthful baseline looks like under this kind of forensic microscope. During the interview, Warren offers this deeply emotional description of his bond with Nolan. He says, "I can describe Nolan in a million ways. He was not just a best friend to me, but he was a brother." I want you to imagine how this looks and sounds. When he says it, there's this profound sense of nostalgia and attachment. His language reflects a genuinely positive bond.
And the science totally backs that up. When this was run through Deceptio AI, which is a specialized statement analysis software, this exact quote scored as 91% truthful. The sentiment and the specific word choices are firmly, undeniably in the truthful category.
So what did Warren's body actually look like during this 91% truthful baseline? Well, his blink rate was super even, no rapid fluttering at all. His face was neutral and relaxed, and his vocal tone was incredibly fluid, no hesitation whatsoever. Now, interestingly, his posture was very subordinate. He was sitting with his hands tucked right between his legs. The internet claimed this meant he was acting suspicious and hiding something. But a real expert will tell you that's just a classic sign of low confidence. I mean, the guy is sitting in a police station being questioned by an officer. Feeling subordinate and making yourself small perfectly matches a relaxed, truthful baseline for an incredibly stressful environment like that.
Let's test this baseline again. Here's another quote where Warren describes the sheer trauma of getting the phone call about Nolan going missing. He says, "I've never experienced something like this, and it was traumatic."
This one scored a whopping 98% truthful, and his body language completely supported it. While recalling this memory, Warren displays very helpless body language. His hands flail a little bit, his palms turn up, which, by the way, is a universal human sign of feeling overwhelmed and defeated. His head movements just naturally punctuate a story, totally confirming that it's a genuine emotional memory.
And this perfectly illustrates a massive rule in behavioral analysis. Truthful memory recall is naturally nonlinear. When Warren is telling his true stories, he naturally corrects himself. He backs up, he jumps around organically. If someone's story is an overly perfect, strictly linear timeline of events, that is actually a massive warning sign of rehearsal and deception.
Warren's messy, emotional storytelling right here, that is exactly what the truth sounds like.
Section 4. Signs of cognitive load.
Now, what is really fascinating is how absolutely everything changes the exact moment the topic turns to Nolan's missing phone. The officer directly asks him if anyone deleted anything from the phone. Listen to Warren's response. Instead of just a simple, normal denial, he gives this weirdly defensive, over-explained answer. He says, if none of us had touched Nolan's phone, then you know there's no reason for anything to be deleted. He didn't just say, no, I didn't touch it. He built this entire, complicated, conditional argument.
And look at this dramatic drop. The AI analysis flags this specific response, indicating 83% deception. That truthful baseline we just spent time establishing, it is officially broken.
Let's literally walk through this physical breakdown in real time, because this is where those 6 channels of communication just completely light up. Step 1. The moment the phone is mentioned, his posture immediately shifts. He forms a cross-body barrier, locking one hand onto his opposite knee in a highly tense, rigid position. Step 2. His vocal tone suddenly elevates. It gets louder, it gets defensive. Step 3. His language randomly shifts into the present tense, instead of speaking about a past event. And Step 4. Those incredibly fluid words we heard earlier, they suddenly become rapid and slurred together, and he does this incredibly out-of-place stress smirk. This right here is a massive, glaring deception cluster.
What you are witnessing in that cluster is the literal physical manifestation of cognitive load. It takes incredibly heavy mental effort to process a high-stress, deceptive narrative on the fly. Warren's brain is working so hard to navigate this lie about the phone that it literally short-circuits his baseline. The slurred words, the rigid barrier posture, the totally inappropriate smirk, these are all physical leaks. His body is leaking the truth because his brain is under immense cognitive pressure.
Section 5. The final verdict.
So, let's see how this builds a complete picture using our detective's toolkit. The crucial takeaway is summarized perfectly by Susan Constantine's expert conclusion. She says, I think there is something that occurred with that phone. She makes it absolutely clear that we cannot definitively scream foul play just based on body language alone. In fact, most of what Warren said during that interview was totally truthful. The guy's genuinely traumatized. But because of that undeniable scientific behavioral cluster that erupted the exact second the phone was mentioned, it proves for sure that he is hiding something specifically about that device.
The science of body language has really peeled back the layers of this interview. It's cleared him of the internet's broader, wilder conspiracy theories, but it has laser-focused the investigation onto a single, glowing red flag. Warren Hudson knows something about Nolan's phone that he is insane. So, based on all the undeniable scientific evidence we've just decoded together, what exactly do you think he's hiding?